evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJNTV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJNTV Insiders.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday Night Live with KC with special guest Richard Mills.
All right. Thanks, John. So most of you know that I'm normally on with Brian Bonus, CC, but I had the distinct pleasure of being able to ask Richard Mills all the way from beautiful New Zealand to join me tonight, because I think that what he has to say and what he's been sharing with DJs around the country, and Randy Bartlett has shared his story, and with that, I'm just kind of come right out. So Richard, you're a DJ from New Zealand, correct?
Correct. Yes, I am.
All right.
So I speak funny.
You do speak funny. It's I don't know what that is, but
it's a brain tumor, right?
It's a what?
It's a brain tumor.
A brain tumor. So let's go back. So you are or have been a DJ for how long now?
So I did my first ever paid event, which was a 21st birthday for a set of twins back in 1986.
Okay.
1986.
Gotcha.
So,
and then what is your business? What did you grow your business into? What has it been like? What is it like? Tell me about your business, because what I want to do is find out how relatable you are to 99% of the people that watch our show.
Okay. So my business has had to change, obviously, since October of 2017. Where I had
prior to that.
Yeah, prior to that, probably mostly weddings. I traveled up and down the country.
Independent or multi-app?
Oh no, independent.
Okay.
So I've been a multi-op briefly. Only very briefly. I didn't treat it well enough like a business, so it was hard going. Tax is different. Music purchasing was different. That was back in the days when you had to buy multiple sets of records.
Right.
So if you're a multi-op and you had to buy probably 12 sets of Twist and Shout, and 12 sets of Grease Megamix, and 12 sets of Dancing Queen, and so forth. And that was all on vinyl.
Right.
So that was not something I wanted to invest in particularly. I didn't have enough work rolling in to make that viable. So I chose instead to pay my guys a bit better, and they brought along the music libraries. But the difficulty with that was, of course, I wasn't able to control the quality of the library.
Okay.
So mostly it was single op. Yep.
Okay, so your DJ career has been pretty much in keeping with a lot of people's. You've been up, you've been down, you've gone from multi-op to single, been busy, you've been slow. Probably as relatable as anybody watching us. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Although for the later part of my career before the change, it was I was concentrating on the higher end weddings and corporate events. Higher end,
Okay.
I mean more more high end venues, more high end clientele. In New Zealand, traditionally, the DJ is not also the MC. That was something that I basically brought in myself. And that was probably the big turning point. So that would be, I guess that'd be the primary difference between myself and the rest of my market, was that I was bundling it all together.
So then the reality is that you were fighting the fight, developing the best mousetrap possible, doing the best job you possibly could for your customers, seeing some success, and then October of last year, what happened?
I woke up with a seizure, a tonic-clonic or grand mal seizure. 45 minutes, I was seizing and shaking and quivering. I was unconscious. Stopped breathing for 4 or 5 minutes. And when I woke up, there was paramedics in my bedroom. Cute paramedics, as I recall.
Okay.
And they said, I said, I'd like to go back to bed now, because I wound up on the floor. And they said, no, you're not going back to bed. You're coming to hospital. So I went into hospital and had a battery of tests, MRIs and CT scans and so forth. And they determined that I had a grade 4 glioblastoma, multiform brain tumor. And that was a bit of an eye-opener. They operated 4 days later. And then they told me what it was after they'd operated, and gave me 12 to 14 months to live.
And so we are November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So we're 9 months in. And how do you feel today?
That was 2017.
Oh, that was 2017. So, okay. So I
haven't lived my expectation.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're defying the odds, and that's great. So recently you came to the States, and you spoke.
Actually, before that, I was back in March of 2019.
Okay.
I underwent a second craniotomy.
Okay.
For the same thing, and they scraped out a little bit more brain and did a little bit more damage, and I had a bit of recovery to do, and still do. And at that stage, they said, they weren't prepared to give me a time frame. But yes, that's fast forward to Tennessee.
Okay.
And that was, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Richard spoke at the Arm DJ show for Robbie Britton in Gatlinburg, Tennessee in June, which is what kind of sparked a lot of, I don't want to say interest, but that's where your message, which is why you're here, resonated with a lot of DJs, and you've resonated with a lot of DJs. And so that's why I wanted to have you on, so that you could share what you shared in Gatlinburg with everyone.
Yes, and the Gatlinburg address, as I've come to call it. At the time I gave that keynote, or as Randy Bartlett would like to call it, his warm-up act.
Okay.
I was very much under the weather. I was not doing particularly well. I was very I was very much confused, dazed, tired, but managed to get the address out okay, and the message went across very well. I think just my optimism about what I'm facing was well received. But I think we chose, my parents and I chose to cut the trip short. Straight after the show, I turned turned a corner in a not good way, and had to run back to New Zealand with my tail between my legs, and went straight from the airport to the hospital, and was told that the cancer had grown back again, and the reason I was having tiredness issues, confusion, I couldn't tell my right from left, cognizant issues. The reason I had all those problems was because the cancer had grown right back again. So after 3 months,
just after 3 months, it grew back that fast.
Yep, it's about the most aggressive and fast-growing cancer they know. Senator McCain died from the same cancer. Gord from the forget the name of the band, Canadian band, he died from the same. It's all the money in the world and all the power and influence in the world ain't going to help you with this thing.
Right.
So it's really aggressive. So the oncologist said to me, well, what's happened is this has grown back very fast, as it does. Put your affairs in order, and you've got between 2, 4, and 6 months to live. And I wasn't okay with that, really. They put me on another batch of steroids. They put me on another batch of which reduced the inflammation to the brain, which is what the inflammation was causing the confusion and just the tiredness and everything. And they also put me on another batch of chemo, and I felt so good that when I was asked to speak to Think Tank just a few weeks later, of course I said yes and flew back over to Chicago, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in Think Tank. So
very good. So would you be willing to talk to us and kind of give your keynote that you've given to Think Tank, that you've given to the people at RMDJs, and share your message?
Well, it was pretty simple, I think. I broke my message in Gatlinburg down to chapters, because Robbie Britton, when he asked me to speak, I said, well, what do you want? Do you want technology, or do you want entertainment, or do you want inspiration? What is it you want? And he said, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sounds
I broke
it.
Well, he might not have said yes. It might have been a few more syllables than that.
Right.
A bear is a bear
Right.
down that way. Anyway, he was very much encouraging of me to just speak about whatever it was that I needed to speak about. So I broke into chapters, and I think probably the ones that that broke through was under the heading of living your best life. And the second point that I made was don't be a dick.
Okay.
You've got a choice.
Let's go back. What was your first point?
Oh, I'd have to look up the PowerPoint.
Okay, not a problem. So let's skip it and then go directly to the second. So don't be a dick.
Yeah, we can put the slide up, but it was okay. Life's not, you don't have a. I think the first point was nothing in life is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. you're not going to get out of this alive. So stop taking yourself so seriously was a summary of some of the points. But the don't be a dick thing. Now it was a profound thing that I thought, well, I didn't realize actually was profound at the time, but people have responded to it quite well. I think a lot of us forget that that's an option to not be a dick.
Right.
There's you get cut off in traffic. It's all very easy to get angry, and I just explained that you don't need to be. That's their journey. That's not yours. It's not personal. They don't know you, and probably don't think about you as much as you think. So don't just the way you respond to things is. It can make a massive difference to the amount of stress you've got and the amount of aggravation that you wear on your shoulders. Another point that I made was living your best life was don't let people live rent free in your brain. If you've got somebody who's given you grief, who's disrespected you, who's been mean to you, who's stuffed you up and messed you over and whatever it is, don't let that live in your psyche. Don't bear grudges. Just you don't need to. And to that end, there's a book that helped me a lot. I've actually just today or yesterday I posted a link to it, and it was a simple little handbook that I read 20 something years ago, and every now and again I reread it, and it just reminds me that people probably aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are. They are probably not as confident as you think they are. They're probably not as, I don't know, popular in their mind as you think they are. And just we all have our insecurities. We all look in the mirror and don't like something about what we see. And so I think by realizing that everybody has that,
like a million seller Be Happy by Andrew Matthews. I just looked on your Facebook page.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So
and that was just for me. It's wickedly simple. In fact, there's cartoon drawings that the author has done. But that little handbook, I just need to reread it every year or two, and it just continually fine tunes my attitude, I guess. But I think not taking yourself too seriously is really a big thing. Burn the candles, drink the good wine, sip the whiskey, crack it open every now and again. Life's not a rehearsal, and you don't get to experience the goodness of life if you are not putting yourself outside your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So to that end, I spoke to the Gatlinburg armed DJs about what New Zealand is, what the beautiful country that we've got, and I think that went over very well as well. So. Mm-hmm. I think pretty much everybody's wanted to visit New Zealand, certainly more so since Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, or however many movies there were. Right. But it's just such a big journey to make that people don't realise. One person was thinking he was going to spend 2 days maybe in each island, and that would get to see see New Zealand. I would say 2 to 3 weeks, you'll be starting to scratch the surface.
Well,
So,
It'd be like trying to see the United States in 2 days or 3 days or what have you.
well, yeah, I mean, sure, you spend a lot of time on interstates, and we don't have those. You know,
Right.
we're a bumpy, crinkly country, but it's an incredibly scenic country and quite beautiful. And there's so many wonderful experiences that you can have here. You know, we were the inventor of the bungee jump and the zorb ball and the electric fence. We were really pioneers of aviation. In fact, there's some evidence to suggest that we might have even flown prior to the Wright brothers.
Gotcha.
Powered flight. But there is an innovative nature about New Zealanders.
Have you been bungee cord jumping?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I have as well.
Yeah.
How old are you, Mike Richard, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm 51.
Okay,
50.
you're older than I am. I just turned 50.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about the hair?
That's optional. That's, God only made so many perfect heads and the rest he covered with hair.
Yeah, well, I've had both. So.
Gotcha.
Head upside down, right?
What's that? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what all bald guys do. They have to have facial hair. Like, think of almost every bald guy they have a goatee, they have a beard, they have something. It's part of the code, it's required.
I noticed on the teaser advertisement for this podcast that you chose my one great radiation bald photo.
Oh, that would be a John Young thing. So you can't blame me on that one. You have to. That's a John Young thing. You'll have to take it up with management. I'm just talent. So he's able to put the graphics together.
Very, very funny.
So now you've been talking about enjoying the wine, enjoying the cigars, enjoying your friends, enjoying your life. As you look back, and I know a lot of people say they don't have regrets, but now that you look back, what are some of the changes that you wish you had made, or things you had done, or the advice you could give somebody? Well, let's go back to, let's say some of the mistakes or the regrets you may have. And I know it's not great to dwindle on regrets, but everybody has regrets.
Yeah, they do. And for me, it would be not following my heart sooner, not realizing. See, it took me a long time before I realized that being a DJ was actually what I was cut out to do. This is my career. I had to work a number of real jobs while I was earning not enough money as a DJ, because I didn't have the foresight to know that working as a DJ full time was an option. And it took my American colleagues to let me know that, hey, you can be a professional DJ and you don't have to retire at 40 as a DJ. I'm working now in fact, I'm working tonight. It's Friday afternoon here now. I'll be working tonight in a cowboy bar in Wellington, the capital city. And this bar is probably the top party bar in the country, or certainly in my city. I'm 51 years old. I've got brain cancer. I walk with a serious limp, and so this is something that's very humbling to me. That the fact that with all of these challenges, I can still work in a great environment where I'm playing cheesy music to millennials. They're singing along at the tops of their lungs, and I'm doing this while drinking a beer and earning enough money to survive for now.
Okay.
So I didn't earn for the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks, obviously, because I was overseas spinning up in America. But and then when I came back, I've had to wean back into it, because You know, it's tiring, it's hard work, but I'm able to do it. Now, as far as regrets, not realizing that sooner, that will be one of them. Not realizing that time is short, and I mean genuinely realizing that time's short. The saying is, you only live twice, and the second time is when you realize that your numbers are finite. And that's a cliche, I know, but it does bear repeating over and over and over. Everything that we are doing, everything that we are saying, everything that we are enjoying, experiencing, that affects other people, is worth doing really, really well.
Okay.
I think that's. I guess the question would be, if you could do it all over again, that's the classic thing. What would you tell yourself if you went back in time? I get the chance to do that by teaching my children. From my experience, what would I have done differently?
And how old are your children?
Okay, they're 16, 18, and 12. Three boys. And the 18-year-old, very driven, very motivated, very sporty, very popular.
Now, will he talk to you, or do you just have to do it through Snapchat?
No, he's pretty good.
Good.
Too busy for his own good, but
Okay.
he's working for Domino Pizzas, and he was prior to that he was working in an early child care, after school care.
Okay.
And he's coaching for his. We don't have American football, of course. We have rugby.
Right.
It's like football, but without the breaks and without the
excitement or fun or cheerleaders or.
Oh, we don't have the cheerleaders, but what we do have is 80 minutes, 40 minutes each way, with a 10-minute break of non-stop combat, basically.
Okay.
These guys are super fit. There's no question about the fact that an All Black, the All Blacks are the New Zealand national team, and they are currently the world champions in rugby. And rugby is a brutal sport. You need to be a superhuman to play it. And these guys, when you see them in the flesh, they're not normal.
Okay.
They're like people, but they're like people 2.0.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So huge monsters.
Huge monsters, but or super quick. I would say watch a rugby match international, and you'll see what I mean.
Very good.
But so he was coaching the touch rugby team for his younger brothers. He was doing all of those things, and he's from delivering pizzas, he's gone to spending a lot of time doing everything in the shop to be basically a franchise owner, I think. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he gets to be that in a short space of time.
Gotcha.
Next son, he's the one I'm worried about. He follows after me in a lot of ways. He enjoys dressing up in a tuxedo. He's enjoying acting and speaking, and he's very much a talent-driven character, but he knows just enough to get out of doing hard work, and that's what's worrying to me.
Gotcha.
And the youngest son is 12, and he is following in his older brother's footsteps. So he's going to be a lady killer in no time.
And what is the message that you are trying to leave with your children with the limited amount of time that you have?
Don't be a dick.
Right.
It's obvious.
We've covered that.
Yes, we have. That you don't need to worry too much about what others think of you.
Right.
Live your life. Don't waste time. When I say don't waste time, leisure time's important. That's not wasted time in my eyes. But if you have something you want to do and you're not moving towards it now, then find a way to change what you're doing. Find a way to change the behaviors that you are doing, so that you are moving towards that goal. If you want to come to New Zealand, come to New Zealand. Don't make excuses. There's nothing but time, unless you're like me, and in fact, unless you're like anybody. None of us have any idea when our time's up. I've got perhaps a little bit more refined idea than most, but I'll say that to the boys. I'll say to them, don't worry so much about what people think of you. Just be good, be righteous, and I want to leave them with a really good example, and a whole lot of dad jokes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have plenty of those.
Gotcha. What's your favorite part of the industry? What you do, what gives you the most amount of satisfaction? Or what do you excel in? What's your favorite part about being a DJ or entertaining people?
It's creating in my previous life as a wedding DJ.
Okay.
It was creating the moments, creating the memories, and getting the and getting the laughter and the applause and the tears and the that was all just so rewarding to me. Creating something out of nothing was just magnificent, and without it being about me, to facilitate that, that was just a wonderful thing to have the ability to do. In the bar, it's getting that elevation of energy over and over and over and over, getting them to the point where they are whipped into a frenzy, when they don't want to leave the dance floor because to get another beer, because there's another favorite song coming on, there's another banger.
Right.
And
banger, you've been listening to Nick Spinelli too much. Nobody used the term banger until Nick Spinelli put it out there.
No, we've been using it in New Zealand for quite a while.
Okay. All right.
And I'd been putting my music in crates, virtual crates, for a considerable period of time.
Nice.
No, Nick Spinelli, I love the guy's energy. I really do.
Sure.
And it was actually quite good to, even though he was talking about something that I'd already been doing with his crates and things. And I guess you'll backtrack, and there'll be some discussion as to what that was. I think for me it was the white girl music, white girl party music.
Oh yeah. For those of you who've never seen Nick give a seminar before, he puts things into crates, and one of his crates that is rather amusing to a lot of DJs is he's got a crate that he calls white girl music or white chick music, which is your Gwen Stefani's, your Miley Cyrus's, and all of the white girl sing-along stuff. And if you've ever seen his seminar, everybody has that aha moment, and then they immediately go out 2 days later, they create their own white chick crate. But it is Nick is a great presenter, and his crate management is very spot on too.
Well, I didn't realize that I'd been putting my music into crates for some time. I've got a the bar I play at. It's called Dakota Bar, as in North Dakota, and it's we have probably 40% country music, 30% rock, and 30% sing along, and party music, and that's particularly later. But a huge amount of it, in fact, almost all of it, is in that genre of white party girl.
Gotcha.
We have bits of other genres as well, but it's all feel good music. It's all high energy music, and I play music to that pretty girl market, because if they are in our bar, we don't have to worry about there being any problems with selling drinks. We don't have any problems with there being not enough guys to buy drinks for the girls. If the pretty girls aren't in the bar, even if the guys are in the bar, we're only going to get angry. We're only going to get problems, and just that white girl crate. That's basically what I'm playing.
Gotcha. Very good. And how many nights a week are you spinning now? Are you 2 or 3 nights, one night a week?
I was supposed to start again last week, but I just realized that I was not quite ready yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to be starting again tonight. Tonight is Friday night here in New Zealand,
right?
And I'll work tonight, and then I've got another DJ to cover tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then I might step up to 2 nights again from next week onwards.
Very good. Yeah. So you don't do any more private parties? You're just working in the bars?
Pretty much.
Okay.
At the moment, I can't set up. For those who don't know me, I've my right arm and right leg. I'm right-handed, and that's the usefulness of my right arm is not much. So I can't. I'm having to use a left-handed mouse. I couldn't use a controller.
Is that from the seizures or the brain, the tumor on the brain?
Scooping out the bits of brain that are controlling things, basically.
Gotcha.
So down my right side, I've got basically, you could say that I'm partially paralyzed.
Okay.
So, and I was right-handed, of course. So,
of course, as fate would have it.
Yes, exactly. But you adapt, and you cope, and you learn strategies. That starts in hospital. I had to work out how to. Once I was able to get up and get to the bathroom, I then had to work out how to do the paperwork.
I understand. I hear you.
And the spreading butter on toast is tremendously entertaining. I laughed.
Are you talking about literally spreading it on toast, or is that a metaphor for the bathroom?
Literally. No.
Okay, just checking. Didn't know if that was a New Zealand thing or some sort of a catchphrase.
No, that's good. That's no, that sorry, that I should have separated.
No, it's okay. Those. I'm just a cheesy DJ though, so I have to go for those easy ones.
Yeah, no, you shoot for the low hanging fruit by all means.
Yep.
The only thing that I found that beat me was they gave me a whole orange, and a plastic knife.
Oh wow!
And yep, I can't peel one of those.
Really? Gotcha.
I tried. So, yeah.
Interesting. The things that you take for granted that are a totally different thing. Yeah. No,
you need to drive a car with if you're driving, you need to be able to drive a car with the indicators, the direction. What do you call them?
Direct turn signals.
Turn signals. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
So we call them indicators.
Okay.
Yeah. So the turn signals. You need to drive a car with the turn signals on the correct side of the steering wheel. So that meant Euros or American cars for me, because I can't. And I needed to have a car that had automatic wipers as well, because I can't reach the right-hand side of the steering wheel. So
right, yeah, because you're on the other side, right? We're on the left, you're on the right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's
everything's got to be to the left to you. So
correct.
So how is that even just queuing up music and everything else? You just had to learn how to do everything with your left hand?
Well, and fortunately for me, I have been a user and a subscriber to a software called OTS,
right?
OTS AV for a very long time, and had been using that not with a controller. So I had not been a controller DJ for the longest time, and this software has probably the most stable and a most astonishing auto beat mixing ability with music video. I'm mixing music video all night long, and it's seamless.
Just with your laptop and a mouse?
That's all I walk in with. You know, I plug in my USB sound card. I plug in the HDMI output to the video sender. Click my mouse and off I go.
And that's it.
That's it. And okay, I'm not able to be creative in the way that a lot of DJs would like, but then I'm working with a different type of energy, a different type of audience,
right?
So yeah.
So you can't do YMCA, is what you're saying?
No, it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I tried it. I was in the bar, and I didn't realize, but I still didn't know, or I didn't realize that my arm
wasn't working.
So
you're doing half of it.
Well, I was, and I went to buy someone a beer as well, and I got my beer and their beer, and I thought,
okay.
I'll need to carry that back.
How long have you lost motion in your right hand, or your right side of your body?
Well, the motion, I got partial movement back after the first surgery in October 2017.
Okay.
And I got to the point where I was fairly proficient with most things. I was able to take my boat out. I was able to go fishing and wind the fish in. I was able to pull the anchor. I was able to do all of those sort of things slowly, clumsily, but I was able to do them. And that's the other reason I stopped doing functions, is that I had to set the gear up, and I couldn't do that very well. So, it's you just learn. You learn to adapt, but then I guess it was after the second surgery in March this year that really did a number on me.
Gotcha.
The damage was more profound. They had to scoop out my brain, and there's nothing wrong with my arm. There's nothing wrong with my leg. It's just the neurological damage that's been done up here, because the brain was cut open from ear to ear, and they scooped it out, and
gotcha.
apparently it was a bit that I didn't need, the bit that plays crappy music.
So my brother went through a similar situation. He had a brain tumor as well. They had to remove his right ear, open up his skull, and remove. Fortunately for him and his family, his was non-cancerous, and it's been a year and a half now. And God bless, he's good, with the exception of having lost some of the hearing in his right ear and him getting vertigo. He's made a full recovery. So when this came on and I knew what it was, it felt very personal to me. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. So yeah, messages you have for the DJ industry, for anybody watching this, anybody that will watch this.
Don't be a dick.
Right. You're pretty set on that, aren't you?
Look, it turned out it was a big thing. I'm still baffled. I'm still puzzled as to why it's a big thing. 3 people have now got it tattooed on their bodies.
Really?
Yep. Mills is on 3 people now tattooed. 1 in New Zealand and 2 in America. Mills I should probably preface it. It was something I talked about where I've got an over abundance of enthusiasm, as you can probably tell.
Sure.
And I have an
Have you always been this way, or is this a byproduct of?
It's just life.
Okay.
I've been very lucky, I regard. I was lying in hospital and I was listening to the sounds coming out of the other units, especially after my first surgery. And they had me. They put some dye. They gave me some dye to drink before I went into surgery, and it made the cancer cells glow, which I found very, very funny and ironic, because I've spent most of my career under UV light.
Okay.
So they had me in darkness for 72 hours afterwards, and post surgery they needed to obviously check me and test me. So every 30 minutes, 24/7, for the first day, I was getting checks, and they'd ask you what your name was, do you know where you are, do you know what the day of the week is, that sort of thing. They're just checking to make sure that there's no bleeds and that things are, that you're cognizant of what's happening around you. But then I went to hourly observations, and then to 2 hourly observations, and then 6 hourly observations. But in that time, I was in utter darkness or near darkness. So I was very, very acutely aware of all the sounds going on in the unit, in the surgical unit. And I was listening to people that were, by my estimation, having a much worse day than I was. And it just gave me an appreciation for, hey, it ain't all that bad.
Right.
I've been so very, very lucky to have had the good surgical team that I had, to have had the good fortune to have had a good medical team, to have had the good fortune to have recovered as quickly as I did. That was part of my thought process at that time. So it's I just have an attitude of, God, I was lucky.
Right.
I pull up outside a shop, and there's probably a car park open up for me. There's a business card draw at a business after 5 for the local Chamber of Commerce. I'll probably win it if it's what I want. It's just I've had that mindset. And look, I don't always get the car park out front.
Right.
But I have the attitude that I do, and that seems to be enough. And so I've had my friend Nick Logan, who will be known to several of you. He was at both of the Think Tank and ARM DJs, and he's been at Mobile Beat many times. He's one who's made the trip quite often, and it's a big trip to make.
Right.
He has coined the phrase "Millsed it." So my surname is Mills, and he said, "Oh, man, you've millsed it, haven't you? You've millsed it again. Yeah, something good will happen to me." I say, "Well, yeah, of course." So that was one of the things that stuck.
Gotcha.
So I millsed it. I have an expectation that things are going to work out okay, and if they don't, it's okay.
Well,
They
you
will next
can't do much about it anyway.
No.
It's beyond your control.
And that's exactly it. You know, if it's not okay, maybe it's not yet over.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So and
So Howie Darkstar commented, "Thank you, Richard, for all you've given to the mobile DJ industry, sending prayers up to you and your family." Jimmy Spin, "Prayers for you and your family, applaud your strength, and thank you for taking time to share with us." Let's see who else is love things. Nate Nelson, who you may have met at Think Tank. "My thoughts and prayers go out to you and your lovely wife. Much love. Richard, you are an inspiration. You are pushing me to make my life better and not be a dick." I'm trying to think. I got to refresh some screens to see some other stuff, but you're definitely touching people with your story. I cannot thank you enough for coming on and sharing it. Your attitude is fantastic. The only thing that I was honestly hoping you were going to tell me is that when you were in the darkness and they were checking on you, that you just started messing with the nurses. That when they asked you who you are and where you're with, you're like, "I'm a pretty, pretty girl. I'm a pretty, pretty, pretty girl." And they're like, "Okay, something's going on here."
I learned pretty quickly that they have no sense of humor about that stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I told my kids, about the worst thing. They said, "Oh, so what do you, what's the worst thing about this?" I said, "Oh, the worst thing is I've had heaps of time to come up with bad dad jokes."
So that's the biggest fear that your kids have, are the dad jokes?
Oh, hell yes.
My nephew's that way too.
Yeah.
Brian Graham, "My life has been completely blessed knowing Richard after having met online and at Mobile Beat many years ago." So you are touching a lot of people. Yeah. So John, are you here? Did you make it back?
I've been here the whole time.
Oh, okay, terrific.
I had to keep my hand close to the bleep button for Casey.
I didn't drop an F-bomb.
I know
once.
you were being nice.
I've been very good, very serious. Well, kind of.
Why don't you wrap the show up here, Casey?
I've
You
been a
want to come
broadcast.
on and say hello, John? Come on, John. It's not the same unless you come on and say hello.
I can come
Was
on.
your hair a mess? There he is. There he is.
Not a mess. But Richard, thank you for coming on tonight. It was very, very. For those of us with family and children and such, and hearing your thoughts and things tonight, it was a real. I guess the best way to describe it would be a blessing to have you share your thoughts and such tonight. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
If people want to stay in touch with you, if they want to know what's going on in your life, what's the easiest way for them to stay in touch and wish you well, or what's the best way to talk to you?
Probably Facebook at this stage.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep things updated as much as possible, and after my time is up, and I've shuffled off the mortal coil.
You're just going to haunt people? Is that it? It's going to be the ghost of Richard at Mobile Beat? Or?
I think Ghost of Mobile Beat. Ghost of Mobile Beat past. I love it. No, I just I'll be hopefully living over in in some sort of a paradise where they play not too crappy music.
Gotcha. I don't know if you
and
know it, but I've been told by others that have passed and visited me, it's a white chick crate forever. Forever and ever. You're going to be singing Party in the USA for eternity, whether you want to or not.
Okay.
That's okay. I've always liked, I've always loved songs that drive me crazy.
Yeah.
But I love them because they get everybody juiced. ABBA's Dancing Queen, Party in the USA, Jolene, there's two Mileys.
Actually, it's a Dolly. It's a Dolly. Miley just ripped it off.
She did, but she
does cover it very well.
And there's a great version of Dolly's one as well. It's a bit upbeat.
Right. I guess Dolly is her godmother.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.
So.
Yeah. No, those are songs that I play. I'll play Love Shack. I hate that song,
but I
love it as well because it just gets the crowd juiced. And
things must be very different in New Zealand because I don't know that I've ever had a crowd juiced over the B-52s. But you know what? Thinking about it, okay, so you talked about bungee cord jumping. What's the most famous New Zealander that we would know? A band, an artist, a musician?
Sir Edmund Hillary was the first to climb Mount Everest.
Who was?
Sir Edmund Hillary. And
John,
he was a Kiwi.
Anything?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay.
There's these things we have called history books where they teach you about people who've done great things in the world, and he was the first to climb. They don't teach that in Chicago, I realize.
National Enquirer.
They're too busy teaching you how to handle handguns in Chicago, but the rest of us, we learn about these things.
You know how to handle them. Okay. What else? Anybody else, Richard?
Ernest Rutherford split the atom.
Okay.
Father of nuclear science, in other words.
Got it.
Father of the atom bomb.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Our current prime minister, shot to fame recently after the Christchurch massacre, as it's been come to know.
Right.
It's been come to be known as. Nick Logan will love that.
Gotcha.
And if you're a Philadelphia radio station listener, as I am, WMMR rocks. We have a tremendous affinity for that station, and Nick Logan, you'll know what that means. So, who else? Oh no, our Prime Minister shot to fame recently for her stance on gun laws, on the laws changed in a way that's hitherto unknown. It was just the coming together of New Zealanders, and the fact that the Prime Minister refused to utter the killer's name. He wasn't given any notoriety at all. Just was so big. She, to this day, she hasn't uttered his name. It's become illegal to publish his manifesto. And that's just a New Zealand way of dealing with things. We come together. His name has not been uttered.
Well, so that's good.
So she's someone who not all of us support her policies or her party, but we're all tremendously pleased that someone was in power that had that sort of warmth and compassion.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Richard, thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story and your love for the industry and your love for life. I appreciate it. God bless you. I wish you nothing but the best, and keep in touch. So,
yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. John, thank you for letting me have Richard on.
Yeah, thanks for.
And we will see you all real soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night.